set review date. And I'll show you how we do it. And once you set a due date here, it will appear on calendar automatically, and once it's over, it will change color. Now, here on top are places where this particular task, or in this case, it's a policy, shows up, and you can add more things. So during operational meeting, like here, if I look at this particular thing and we decide that we want to work on it more, I can click here and add it to work list by typing. If I just type work list, it shows me all work lists, and I say all work list prod, and boom, it will put it there. So it takes a second, and it will be there.
So that's great. That's great. So you can not automatically, but you can very easily link an output of a meeting to another project, whether it's someone's personal list, or whether it's a work list from a team.
Yeah, and we do, if you like, we're doing general circle. I'm managing general circle here.
Okay.
If during general circle we decide that it belongs to a particular circle, I would just put it right there, and if somebody represented from the circle will tell me, where do you want it? Do you want it in ready to start or what? And they'll say, okay, we're ready to start. Oh no, put it for backlog. We'll look at it. They'll just say it, and they will handle it. It will be their job as a representative to make sure that it belongs, and they will bring it up. Right?
It goes to the right place.
Yeah. So I want to show you our policy. So we have, the thing about Asana is that Asana has everything as a long list, and that's their limitation. So we create, in order to handle that, I type this. This is like a policy, like this would be a project, but it's empty. I just use it as a header, and then we put this little sign to offset and group it. So this whole manual, I wrote to Asana people saying that they should create folders here. That will help.
Yeah.
But so I showed you work logs. Let me show you policies. So first of all, we have a Kanban called policy needs, drivers, and attention. It's a general thing. And that's the place which is open to anybody, and people can come in and put their needs, drivers, and intentions. If anything irks people, just come here and put them vertically as circles. So general circle, production circle, membership circle, and so on. These are different circles. You can put it as a whole farm here, or we don't know where it belongs, put it here.
Right.
And then we'll discuss.
And then does the secretary look at this before the meeting? Like,
yes,
who looks at this list?
Exactly. So when you create a meeting, a person who is creating a meeting will come here and start looking. And so generally she will go to general circle and say, oh, I want this to be considered. And so you come here, you click on plus, you type meeting.
Wow.
Yes, you do. Here, boom, you select the meeting, boom, it appears there.
Wow, that is awesome. Like if you're running sociocracy and not holacracy, this is much better than Holospirit.
Yeah, so that's very open, and and the main thing is that it's so open that you can certainly make it kind of wrong, but at the same time it's obvious, and everybody knows how to use it. By now we have some people we have some people in their late 70s who are pre-computer generation who really get intimidated by stuff, and yet they're very actively using it.
Wow,
and
that's good.
Conversations and comments and everything is going, so that we broke through that part. Yeah. Can
you show me roles? Like,
we actually, there is not much support for roles. So we have them documented under general policy thing, and you can see here, and in theory, the roles, when you click, since role is just a task, like in Asana, you can set a due date, but we're not very consistent with that at all. So you could potentially type roles here. When you click here, under description will be description of the role. You can do it, and then put under due date, you put review date.
Great.
And it will do it. It will show up. But we're not doing it. We're such a small group that we're not formal about that.
You just assign tasks, but do you have clear roles, or are you just assigning tasks as they come?
No, we have roles. The two main roles that we're holding is we have facilitator, which we rotated between us. Yes, and the rest is really, the second role is the leader, circle leader, but it's not very strong.
And
so
do you
that's not our.
do you just have one?
But
Do you
you
just
can see here.
do you just do do you just do policy meeting for the general circle?
Yes. Well, circles have their own policy meetings. Like in classic sociocracy, circles have their operational meetings and policy meetings, and they report. So this is the list of members you can see on here, GNC, General Circle members, and here as little circles, it shows you who is what. So
okay, that's great.
So this shows, yeah. So you can see some details and so on.
No, I asked that.
Yeah.
I asked that because sometimes when the team is very small, sometimes people choose to operationally divide it into circles, but to maintain one general circle. So only like one policy meeting for everyone, but then teams can have their own little operational circles, not to to have too many meetings, especially when you don't have too many people.
You know what? We started with that. What happens is that there's too much work for general circle then. Just really overwhelming. We realize we can process 1, 2, 3 policies at the meeting, and we have such a backlog of policies that it just becomes. So that's why we try to push everything down as much as we can. We just okay. So one thing we created. Look, we created under policies. It's even though it's not really a policy, we have a Kanban for our vision, and and we're working continuously. Now, in a very curious way, every person wrote their own vision, and we did not work on creating common vision. We tried, but then realized it doesn't do any good. And here, anybody is allowed to refine their vision as they want, but we believe that our vision is a combination of all the visions here.
Great, that's nice.
Like look at this. This is.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, so we just that's how we. All right. So another thing I want to show you is sociocracy knowledge base. It's a Kanban, and the way it works is that when people have questions about sociocracy, they come here and put a card, need explanation, and then one of us will do research and provide. So all things here, if you click on them, would have something. There's a YouTube here that allows people to. So from every item here, you can get and see what it is. So that's our kind of collective knowledge base which we're maintaining here.
That's sweet. That's nice. And if you create a new pattern or something that didn't exist before, you can also just add it here.
And explain how you do it and how it is as long. So the last thing I want to show you is how we do picture forming.
Yeah.
So we have a picture forming template. Under templates, here's picture forming. And the way it works is that when somebody brings up a question, they have to explain where it's coming from. And very often it starts by drivers' needs, drivers' tensions, because that's how we develop policy. But you can also come in and type something here. So then people need to feel, before everybody jumps in, what are we trying to accomplish? And these two are different. Sometimes they're the same, like I don't want visitors without, then the goal and tension is the same, but very often it's different. So the tension could be our harvest is going down, and the goal would be not necessarily just improve harvest. We want to have something more sustainable. We would like to create a system that will allow us to not deplete soil. So it could be slightly different. So you formulate it here. The reason these two are needed is because they then become part of the criteria of how do we know it succeeded, right? It's either close to the goal or solves the problem here. Yes. And then we just people start putting we open it to everybody, and people start putting here things into uncategorized issues. And just people type them, and everybody does it in their own time, and it's growing. Yes. And then we start grouping them into concepts by renaming the group and so on. So let me show you something that already has been done. So the decision was, what do we need to do if we want to keep chickens for the co-op, right? Let me just see. Picture forming, I'll do in archives. Okay.
Chicken's picture forming.
Right. So needs driver extensions, and here is people were typing what needs to be done. Here we type
the goals.
The goals, yes. All right. And then we started to put them into those uncategorized. And after a while, we arrived at what, 5 or 6 categories.
Wow.
We just basically group them all. And so there's a resource issue. Yes. All right. So these are all things. So you can see how it was extensive picture form. Extensive.
Wow.
Now,
and then this was converted into a policy.
Exactly. So now the next thing after that, we went to proposal shaping. Right. And so we have a template for proposal shaping.
So there is like a tuner.
Well, we just basically started to, like, this little things here, lines means the things that were taken to proposal and which were taken into account. And not everything was taken into account, but many. We actually have an example where we took care of everything. I think picture forming on trades was the most effective one. Okay, here's picture forming on trades. So we, as a co-op, we wanted to allow people to trade, do work for us in exchange for a co-op bag, right? And so here our drivers need to reduce accounting confusion, set an end to agreement, because people start and we never know when we're finished, and save cash. And so, and the goal is to introduce community, allow more people to participate, have work done without spending money. You can see that goals and drivers are different. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and the green and blue lines are something that was taken into a particular proposal. You can see the label say. Yes.
Yeah. That's good.
All right.
Because,
so we've done this.
So that then you do picture forming, and then you do the proposal.
Proposal
what
shaping.
Do you call it? Classic search proposal shaping in a different.
It's a different Kanban.
Kanban.
Yeah. So let me show you proposal shaping. I don't think we are doing, and it's preparation for policy meeting. And at proposal shaping, you already collect all the things and you reference your proposal to a particular pictures. So you know why you're proposing. And so it becomes, that allows people to work. So in this month between meetings, several things are done. And then when we come, we have.
And then you can also move it forward, even if it's just a policy that hasn't gone through the proposal the picture forming exercise. You can still.
You can. We have policies like this where people just come in and write a policy, and everybody goes, "Oh yeah, okay." Like we had a policy that we had a funny situation where a member would write an email and copy everybody in a general circle, all the people they knew. And then everybody would respond to that person, and it was becoming ridiculous. So now we create a policy that whenever if we see that everybody is created, we between us decide who will respond. I mean, a very simple thing, right?
And that doesn't even need to go to a meeting. You can just get asynchronous.
No. Oh, we just basically, we put it in and everybody agreed. And the way you can ask for a specific thing, because when you click on it, it opens the card. It's a standard thing. I usually ask, so is anybody has any concern about it? Everybody says, I'm good. So that's it. We say, okay. That's how if there's no dissent at all, it's like everybody is on the same page, we can make it a policy right away.
Yeah, a group that I'm connected to, but I'm not part of that group. They do a lot of asynchronous decision making, and they only take it to the next policy meeting if there's been an objection. If there's no objection, then it's automatically approved.
We also made a policy that at the policy meeting, at the governance meeting, if we have only a few people present, whatever decision they make, it's still final. However, if anybody objects after the fact, the policy goes for review to the next meeting. If anybody says, if like we have 10 people, and suddenly we have meeting of 3, and they make a policy, they're allowed. But if anybody objects, next meeting that has to be reviewed. That's all. An objection has to be there. Okay, so I'm just trying to see if we have any picture policy shaping, maybe in our archive, somebody.
Or just a template.
These are all meetings.
And
I'm seeing being active. Okay.
What can Asana not do for you?
Well, it certainly doesn't show, as we started, it doesn't show organizational structure as meetings, right? The awkwardness of the fact that there's only that much space and finding things, and see we have to put all how we manage this thing. But truly, because it's free and it becomes so convenient, we're very happy with it. It just keep going. The other thing is that if you upgrade, you can make each of the projects private to a particular group of people. If you don't upgrade, everything is public. So in our small co-op, it's not a problem because we can see, and you can also see who changed what. But there was a time when production people did not want anybody else to comment on there. Like a chicken thing I showed you, they wanted to do it themselves because everybody has opinions and they didn't want it. And so the way it was handled is that they just, you can see, they said prod only. Like giving people, like, please don't, we don't need any comments. Yeah. Oh, but here's proposal shaping, by the way. That's interesting. So here's, all right. So drivers are copied, issues from picture forming all here, and then proposals, and you see the 3 proposals. Now, and as you do revisions, you basically create a new thing, but you reference.
That's great.
And here revisions, and then ready for consent. Yeah.
Cool.
And then only this comes to the meeting. That's how we handle.
That's cool. And did you want to show me what you created with James?
Yeah.
But that project actually stopped, right? Like it's not.
Yes. So with James, okay, let's just preview. So with James, we mostly created mind maps describing what the tool needs to have.
Right.
And then each of us started on different areas how we design it. And I'm going to show what I designed for the meetings now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a mock-up tool called Balsamic. And let me just get to I'll show it from the beginning. All right. So there are 2 things here. There's like a little tab for master agenda, which I didn't design, but I mostly work on meetings. So I'll show you how in my mind, the meetings should be done. So when you click on meetings, it gives you a choice. And the general pattern was that here are the things you can do. And here's information about the meeting, right? And so by clicking on them, you'll get more information about the meeting. This is a calendar.
Great.
Now, first thing, I want to show you how we manage templates. So when you click on manage templates, it asks you what would you like to do, which templates do you want to manage. You create new template, or you can create other templates. So we have templates for policy meeting, operational design meeting, stand up, and you can create new templates. Very simple. Let's say I click on policy meeting. Yes. So now it opens to you this thing. Here's the name of the meeting, and you can rename the template. Just a second, I'll send it. Okay. So, and here is a meeting template, and essentially it consists of blocks, right? On here, on the left side, you have all sorts of blocks, and you can drag and drop them to create a template. So I create a template here: check-in, administrative announcement, main agenda, break, main agenda, checkout. All together, it calculates 1 hour and 30 minutes. So that's a template for our policy meeting. Yes. So I can decide to change it. I can just drag and drop something else, or restructure, or I can just say I'm done. I can also click on make a copy, and then I create a copy. Then I rename it. This creates policy meetings. Then I start taking. I don't need this and this. So that's a very simple idea of creating a template, right?
Right.
Just super simple.
That is really cool.
All right. So now I want to schedule a meeting. So I come in and I start meeting date at meeting time. I say where I'm doing it, and then here meeting type, and that's the template you select.
Right.
Right. All right, and then you say recurring meeting. If it is, it will open a few more things here, allowing you to set up recurrence. Let's say I select it's a policy meeting on that date. I click next, and notice that I didn't give the name to the meeting at first, because I can come here now and generate based on the circle I'm in and the type of the meeting. It automatically puts meeting title, which I can change, and then I type it here, and now here I begin to invite participants. So I just type here and more and more and more. I type it and so on, right? So create a list. Then I go next here, and here it opens my meeting agenda, which is exactly those sections that we created, right? And on here we have master agenda, which allows me to show things, and I drag and drop here, right?
Which
I just drag and drop
your backlog. Huh?
Backlog, exactly. And here, because it's a policy meeting, it's showing me, I'm saying show policy items, include circle drives intentions, and sort by whatever you want here. And let's say I'm just starting to do that. I'm decided, okay, after here in main agenda, we're going to talk to neighborhood deliveries. So I click it, so I move it here, and then I decide to, I want to discuss welcome package, and we do it here, and so on. Now, it automatically calculates the time planned. Yes. Perfect. I also can click here and say add ad hoc item, meaning not included in any section. Yeah. So, so that's it. Basically, you begin to you're creating meeting agenda. Now, it's simple, intuitive drag and drop, like it's the easiest thing ever, right? So here, I decide that we will not have a break. So I take it out. So in other words, the template had a break, but I'm allowed to change it. And I realized this is enough time. We're not going to do it. And I'm going to close the other part. Right. So that's the meeting. And then I'm saying, all right, so we're done. So what happens then, it shows me the summary, and I can choose to send it to meeting participants or not. And I say done, boom, meeting schedule. All right. So then I can go to manage schedule meetings, where I can look at all the meetings and just by clicking on the meeting, decide that I want to review it. And it's very simple, right? I'm not sure what, I wonder what I have here. Okay. Ruth, do you need to take it?
No, it's fine. So
yes, and then
for me, this is the right balance, and this is where I think Holy Spirit needs to go. It's the right balance between having something structured, but it's something structured that it's completely changeable. Like I can really make it very specific to my context.
Yeah, but I want to show you more.
Okay, go for it.
Let me show you more, because so let's just do, we're looking at start a meeting. So I'm starting a meeting, and it shows me all the meetings planned and said which meeting you're starting. I'm saying, well, this meeting I'm starting. Okay, boom. So I selected the meeting, and I'm saying, okay, start meeting. I can also start ad hoc meeting without any, like, and what it will do, will ask me which template to use, and we go. But let's just start the meeting. Okay, so when the meeting starts, boom, familiar thing, right? You see the agenda in front of you. Now, what you have here are tools you can turn on and off. For example, I can click a tool called View Participants, and it opens the participant list so that I can type more participants or remove participants that are there, right? I can start timer, and if I click on that, it opens a timer that shows me item duration that's going, meeting duration, and estimated time if we continue, right? Or I can close it.
Wow.
Right? Yes. So I can also, remember you had the rounds.
Yeah.
I think rounds are good, but here's a round, and here I can click next, 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 and it will go automatically and give people a round, right?
Right.
Or I can close the whole thing, and maybe you don't need it. So I have, I can create action item for anything at any time, or I can do it from here, and I can add notes at any time.
Great.
Yeah. All right. So let's say we're starting working. Let me just figure out where to start it with, but I'm not sure what I need to have. So here, the meeting description opens. You can just type it right here and so on. Anybody can do it because of how it's done. I'm curious somehow. Hmm.
Usually you should be able to edit it. Is that what you?
Yes. Well, so look, this is a mock-up, and so the
Yeah.
way you create mock-up, you intentionally allow something to demo. And I don't remember
Okay.
from which these are all different pages. Oh, this is an example of action item, by the way. So you
Great.
can create action item at any time, or you can create action item within when you're considering talking about something. And if you're doing it, it will automatically select the section. But if you're doing it outside of the flow, it can do it here. If you type in owner and put a date, it automatically creates an action item here, and we'll save it, and the list will appear of action items.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, so this is another very flexible way, but leading the meeting, allowing you to go through the meeting. And as you go, you can see the timers, you can see what's going on, everybody can see it, and you can put comments and keep doing things as you go.
And if you create a new policy, then does that then get saved somewhere as a new policy?
Automatically, it will go into the policy thing. And actually, what happens is that once you, like here, these are all policies that are being considered. I actually, strangely, because I actually designed it, I don't know how to get to it. But this, when you click on something, it opens, and inside of it, you can have.
Wow.
You know what? It's worthwhile for me to find it. Just a second.
But this development stopped.
Yes, well, it's just really on that step. What we need to do for it to happen, we need to have either developers who are willing, like actual programmers who are willing to do that, or we need to find some money to build it. The funny thing, I calculated business model for this, and it will pay for itself, no question. I mean, really. And the model I had in mind is making people pay not by members, but rather by circles. So you charge people per circle, right? And you only start when people have more than 2 circles.
Yeah, that was
2 circles, you don't even charge.
That was the Glassfrog original model.
So that's more correct thing, because you want to allow people to become fluent with the tool, and then once they scale and it becomes difficult to manage without the tool, then we start charging money.
Yeah.
So I calculated it's completely feasible. You probably need 3-4 programmers working here. So you need, I mean, this totally as a business would work. But I just don't have that. Several attempts to get group together didn't quite work. Maybe with software we'll do it. I was talking to Jennifer about this, and now there's IT support circle. So I'll bring it there. Maybe we'll do something there if we find people.
Okay, I think that's good. And I also wonder if it's the case of creating a list of requests for Hola Spirit and asking whether they can do them. Or do you think Hola Spirit is it's not worth doing that?
So here's the problem with you cannot all right, this is my philosophy now as a person who worked with software quite a lot. So if there's friction for people to use it, they don't quite use it. They find it. We'll try to minimize friction. So unless things are like smooth as it gets, it's awkward, and when you feed people into the software, they always feel awkward. Yeah. Now, if you take existing system and try to change it, you always still be compromised all the time, so friction all the time. To create a frictionless system where it's like I'm showing you, this is frictionless, like it's completely open, light, everything flows, there's no prescription going on. You need to start from very bottom, and in fact, that needs to be your priority to make it frictionless. For them, it's not. They want to, their mentality is to fit, oh, we have a tool, let's make it fit this. It will fit, but it will be like shoe that doesn't fit. It will still be awkward here and there.
A bit awkward.
Yeah, and so it will not, like, Sociocratic Community, John Buck created the software Weaver, right?
I didn't know.
It's all done.
Never seen
have them show it to you. A lot of great ideas, very prescriptive. And so as such, you feel like they try to put you in a straitjacket. And so, I look at this, I know that people put so much energy, so much money, so much time into it, and it's a lousy software. It just will not fly. You want something like totally simple and elegant, like that, right? So that's what you want. And I know I'm full of myself. I completely understand. I think my design is always the best, but still, I mean, but the truth is, I'm very sensitive to awkward design, and this is the least awkward I've seen, at least. Putting all my understanding, this is what I've done. Yeah.
Okay, so I wonder if it's worth. Yeah, I think it's. I think SOFA is maybe the right place to get this to the next steps. And I think your way of using Asana is pretty good. Like it solves the issues, especially for a small organization where seeing the full organizational design is not so important. Yeah, I'm trying to see if because you've created all the templates, the thing is the work is to create the templates.
Oh, but it's easier. Look, once we change something during the meeting, we decide, oh guys, let's add a column. I just go and edit the template. We're done.
Yeah.
It's simple. So you can see this is how many meetings already happened, and they all archived. They all went away. And yeah, we have. By the way, we did elections. I didn't show you that, but we. This is template for elections.
That's nice.
So everybody comes in, they type their candidates, we So we hold it. It's very simple. It's all.
That's good.
So we're more
good. Okay. I think I might try Asana in one of my projects. I think Asana is a little bit better if you don't have control over if you don't have a group of millennials, Asana seems better than Holy Spirit as well. It takes less learning to be able to use it. Good. This is great. You know, I'm gonna suggest to Jennifer that perhaps this should be a webinar on Logbook, like a webinar on using some of the tools.
Yes.
And then
I already agreed, totally agreed.
And because I also think, for example, Holy Spirit, if you use Holy Spirit with a calendar, where a calendar just for that, where you put policy. Oh, I have one more question. So you're able to put due dates on everything.
And see,
where do
for each
there's a calendar.
For every project, all this thing is there. So it's always appear. But the main thing is look, when I go to policies, like this is where it really works. You go to policies, it gives you all list of policies we have, and the red things show what's expired, right?
Okay.
Like let me show you how we generally how we keep policies. This is date of delivery. So this is policy, and it's a review every 6 months, right? And when we review that, we just put date here. And that's how all the policies, we have dates here. You can see that. And you see that this needs to be reviewed now. So these are all very simple.
That's good. Right? That's the way to do it.
So these all policies are all here, and
yeah, that's great. That's great. That's really great. And then you can also see all the policies for all the circles in one place.
Yes, and you can put them all together. We will separate them. I think it's about time for us to separate them. There are more policies that are not here, actually. We have a separate document that started before we went to Asana that nobody ported. But once I do it, we will just have several. It will be policies by circle. So you go. Yeah, it's just the same thing, right?
Great. Yeah. Wow, this is great. I'm very impressed, actually. I think I'm even thinking that I want to try Asana. I like testing it. Like I like testing these things out to see what happens.
So Ruth, you know what I can do? If you want, I can invite you to our group, so you can just don't change it. I mean, obviously, no, don't worry. But the idea would be, if you want to look at our templates and try to figure them out, if you want to copy them to yours,
I think that would be great.
So let's do this. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how do I stop sharing. Okay, here. All right. I see it now. So, give me your email and I'll put you on Asana. And then after about 10 days, I'll take you off if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll do it right now.
Yeah, and I think it'd be really nice to do a webinar on Logbook, because this can make it or break it for using Sociocracy. And likewise, if you want to join if you want to join Holy Spirit, let me know that I can at least add you to the free account that I have.
All right. So
what does Sofa
can
use?
you check?
What does Sofa use?
I don't know if they use anything, actually. They use Google Docs, and it's ridiculous.
Oh, wow, okay.
And by the way, there's the Jennifer and Jerry, I just want to say that. There's one thing where, a couple of things where I have an issue with what they're doing, and hopefully we will all need, because the moment needs disappears, the policy should disappear. Like
Exactly.
That was the idea. And that from that moment, I think we had a big discussion with James, and James said, okay, I think you're onto something here. And
which was
I think that was
how
the
Driver
starting point.
came up.
That's right, I think so. So Driver came up from that, and from his meeting, the learning about holacracy approach and so on. So there are many components, but that's a big deal that classic sociocracy doesn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't make explicit what's the regenerative or the driving force that it's spurring people to act, and that is actually making people say, okay, yeah, this is something we need to discuss, or yeah, this is something we need to approach. It doesn't really give. It doesn't give, because even vision, mission, aim, it's all about the future. It doesn't talk about the route. Huh?
That's right. That's right.
I love Driver, and I find it very difficult for people to get it quickly.
Well, so I have, you see, I have two things. I have Driver and a goal. So I'm going by both from what we're pushing against and what we're going towards.
Purpose, yeah.
What's the purpose? And the two of them, I think people kind of get it. And they part of picture forming and proposal shaping. They're always in your face. In fact, even with policy, what was the driver and what was the goal is there with the policy. So you can always come back and say, oh, that's why we're doing it.
That's nice. That's a really nice approach. I like Driver, and I really love having to make the context explicit, because I think, as we say, sometimes the need is the same, but the context has changed, and that is going to inform what strategy you use to meet that need. Is very context dependent. So I really love it. I just feel sometimes I just feel it takes a little while for people to really understand it. But making this distinction between the need and the goal maybe can make it happen, make it better. Like really expliciting those two things. Yeah. And sometimes I use purpose from holacracy, especially when writing roles. It's so much easier to actually write the purpose for the role, even though there's a driver for that role. You really want the person to be aiming for a specific purpose.
I think purpose and goal are closer. I think purpose is probably a combination of driver and goal together. I think that's probably two of them.
Yeah. Hi, but it's nice. I enjoy playing with those three things. And now here in Brazil, we're doing something that we called the organic organization. And it takes a lot from holacracy and S3, but they've created a new kind of meeting pattern with 5 functions. So one function is the I forgot the revision. I think it's revise. I can't remember the word in English, but okay. So it's I think it's called review. The review function, which is about circle report and checking what actions have been done and project updates and things like that. We have the synchronization function, and then synchronizing is removing blockages, solving our operational tensions. We have the adapt function, which is really the governance function. So what do we need to adapt? What do we need to adapt our roles, our circles, our policies, create new policy? How do we need to adapt to the organizational structure? We have the care function, which is how are we going to look after our relationships? So it includes conflict transformation, retrospectives in a way that you're looking at relationships. And then we have the select function. So when we need to elect, etc. And within those 5 functions, the facilitator chooses what functions are needed for that meeting. So you can have operations and governance in the same meeting, but in separate modules. And then you have weekly meetings. And that was to solve the issue that otherwise there can be too many meetings in a circle. So this is just a circle meeting, and then you can choose whatever function suits best that week.
You know, for us, the main problem is our meetings are very long, too long. So we people would rather meet more frequently but shorter, rather than having this 3-hour marathon.
Wow, that's crazy.
So yeah.
Oh, and in a group as
well, it's interesting. I hear the approach, and there's a lot of sense to that. Some of the things will push. Like I hear things that we have them in a circle. We have like a circle which is marketing and communication circle, which is essentially responsible for relationships. Yes, and
wow, that's
things
good.
like this. But I hear there's some sense in what you're describing. Not I'm sorry, it sounds judgmental. No, I hear it opens my new possibilities for me. That's better.
I think it has been working. And then I also have one more thing. We're going to start Salt Brazil.
Okay, that's really cool.
Would you use Asana? Because we're after what's going to be our logbook, like that we're going to teach people and, to use, and they're going to be used throughout the whole SALT program. And I wonder if it should be Asana rather than, we were going to use Holy Spirit.
Well, so one thing you need to understand about the difference, and that for teaching people, it maybe makes sense to put them through a straitjacket and kind of make them very structured because they're learning it. Although practically in our group, when we started to use Asana, a lot of people who joined didn't know anything about sociocracy. It was still working for them. They completely understood what we're trying to do. So I think learning curve is much shorter for Asana generally.
Yeah.
But
my feeling is that there is already a steep learning curve about the methodology. So probably something simpler.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll
So
have a little.
Okay.
But thank you so much. It's been great. We should do this more
thank
often.
You, Ruth. Thank you. Okay. I want you. The reason I showed you my mock-ups because I really think that this is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And I just need critical mass. I can lead the team.
Okay.
Definitely. But I need 3 or 4 programmers, and ideally, what the technology I have in mind is either Angular or React, if it tells you anything. But if you have any Angular programmers, if there's any Angular programmers that would like to contribute, then we can build something quickly.
I've never even heard Angular. What is it for? Is it an app language?
No. So it's an application development language for web applications, and okay. Asana is written in. But I'll tell you what it is. It's an amazing thing where you have set of controls, and you can just put these controls on the page, and they will work as they're supposed to do. It's a very fast way of developing.
Wow,
and
cool.
The main thing is that normally web page you have to reload page to see the changes. With Angular and React, you don't. Whatever somebody types appears on your screen immediately, and that's what we want. Yeah.
And what's the budget? What budget do you think? How much do you think this would cost?
I think if we have 100,000, we can build the whole thing.
$100,000?
Dollars, yeah, or euros, whatever. It's close.
Yeah.
And we can do. Look, so it will pay for itself in a year. That's the truth. Because with this model, it will definitely pay. So it's not a big deal, but finding it,
it's finding $100,000.
So what we could do probably is to create what's called initial coin offering, and it's something James we discussed it with, meaning that we can issue a certain number of coins, and people can buy those coins and be owners. And so when later the profit is distributed in accordance to the coins, that we can do.
Yeah, I remember James telling me about this model. Okay, I also want to see, because James was developing something somewhere.
Let's ask him where he is. I stopped working with him about 1.5 years ago, so they may have done by now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely after that.
I can
Okay,
ping
dear.
him on. Yeah. Okay.
I have to go. I have
So
to go. I'm a
yes,
little late
please
for my
do.
next appointment.
All
Okay,
right. Very
so
good.
thank you, and I'll keep in mind. I'll talk to James, and let's see if we can move this forward. It would be
And
really
if when you talk to James, send my regards to him.
yes.
Say I said hello.
I'll do that. I haven't spoken with him in
Okay.
ages. I'll send him a message now.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ciao, ciao.